Hello, welcome to our office. I know many of you are coming in with some apprehension. Well, let me give you some information on what to expect, and our goal and our hope is that may ease some of your concerns and apprehension. So here's what we're going to do on this first day. We're going to meet with you and we're going to discuss what's going on, what are your main optimizing goals that you will have, and from there we're going to do some assessments. One of the assessments that we're going to do is something called a brain mapping, also known as a quantified EEG. Now you're wondering, what is that? Well, we know what an EKG is for your heart, and then we put you on a treadmill and we put you under a stress EKG. A quantified electroencephalograph is an electroencephalograph EEG of the brain, but we put the brain under some test circumstances, and then we see how the brain reacts while we're testing certain aspects of brain function. That elicits a lot of information. That tells us if there's signatures of stress, of some ADHD issues, inflammation, mitochondrial function, concussion issues. So based upon that test, we can figure out what's the best path to get a brain into an optimal state. So that's just one of the tests. The other test we're going to do is a neurofeedback evaluation. I'll come back to what actually neurofeedback is. But first, just let me tell you, this is basically a series of questions that one of the doctors will sit down with you. It takes about 30 to 40 minutes. And we ask you a series of questions, and based upon the outcome, we get a protocol for how to go ahead and start the brain improvement strategies that we call neurofeedback. So let me explain what neurofeedback is really briefly. Neurofeedback is simply this. You sit in front of a computer. The computer gives you sights and sounds, and then your brain, in what we call entrains. Entrainment is how your brain mirrors the energy that's in the room. In essence, if we were to play Metallica and put on a strobe light, I can pretty much guarantee you that I can elevate your heart rate, increase your blood pressure, increase your respiration rate. In the same way that if I now put onto a classical music, say Baroque, put on candles in the room, warmed up the room a little bit, you would feel relaxed. So the brain is going to receive these signals from the computer, and a lot of people need support relative to theta wave. I'll explain that in a second. So as the brain gets stimulated to go into a calm, relaxed theta wave, the computer then sends out a reward back to the brain, and that is called operant conditioning. So in essence, we're training the brain to go from a fight-flight response, a high stress, highly kind of aware state, into a state at which we can be relaxed, calm, and what scientists call socially engaged. Now, really quick with the different brain waves, because I know you're wondering, like, what in the world is a theta wave? So there are multiple brain waves that the brain needs to go into. The most excited state, if you will, is called a beta. The next one is sensory motor rhythm. The next one down from there is the alpha. That's just because it was the first one discovered. That's the daydreamy state. The next one down from there is a theta, and then we finally have the deep sleep, which is the delta wave. The theta is really magical in that it does a couple things. It allows us to go into a delta deep sleep state, but also resolves past traumas. When a person suffers from a post-traumatic stress issue, the body doesn't go into a theta because it wants to keep us in high alert. One of the common symptoms of people with PTS is they do not sleep either soundly or deeply or long. Why? Because the brain is waiting for the next incident to occur. So the neurofeedback allows the brain to go into that deep, relaxed state. And it's about 89% effective after about 20 visits or about 2 months. So then the last thing we're going to talk about today is something we do called an organic acid test. This is simply a urine test that you do at home. It measures up to 70 different metabolites. It measures 3 of the major neurotransmitters of your brain: dopamine, norepinephrine, and serotonin. You've probably heard of serotonin because that's a great antidepressant neurotransmitter, but actually dopamine and norepinephrine are most commonly affected by post-traumatic stress. So based upon this organic acid test, we can also modify, optimize those neurotransmitters in the brain. And we're also going to do a brain-based assessment of you as well to determine if brain-based chiropractic would be beneficial for you. So all that will take about an hour and a half of our office time, and it'll be fun. I promise it won't be nerve-wracking, and we are here to support you. We've done close to probably 400 to 500 veterans and first responders through our nonprofit. So we understand the situation. We're here to help. And again, my name is Dr. DiSiena, and if there's anything further I can do for you, please let me know. Welcome into our office.